Discover the future of gaming this November. Hear from over 90 speakers across the globe. Check out the newest Web3 games. Over 300 esports athletes, and meet your future developers. The future of gaming is here. Don't get left behind.
The air is thick with blood. Allegiances have been tested. Those who remain stand no chance. In the wake of defeat, when your legacy lies in ruins, steel yourself. The enemy stands at the door. Only courage remains. There is no other choice. You must protect your house.
Yo, hey guys, GM.
Protect your house. GM.
Yeah, that trailer always gets me hyped up.
I love it. Honestly,
They definitely have one of the best cinematics from our partner game, Fred. If I was gonna rank like top three, definitely Blockwords is in there. Star Atlas for sure, and Illuvium as well.
Yeah.
Right? Have I missed out anything? What are the games have really contributed?
My
you
Pet
gotta throw
Hooligan.
shrapnel in there too for the cinematics. Oh yeah, My Pet Hooligan's been killing it with all the anime stuff over the last year. So it's been crazy.
We should do like a top 10 hype trailers from Web3 games thing next time.
Definitely
I
might
support
be a segment.
Right?
Yeah, I support that. You're giving people ideas now. We're gonna see it trend everywhere now.
Yeah.
Like the tier lists.
How are you doing, guys? How's the week so far?
It's doing good. I've been
Everything's good.
I've been grinding out these last seasonal rewards for Block Lords here that we'll dive into. But yeah, the season.
I think is
season's
today the
ended, I
last
think,
day?
like a day.
Yeah, just over 24 hours remain. So
I believe so.
forge your
yeah.
legacy.
So Fallen,
What
I have a
like-
quick question. So, who has made most out of the past few weeks? Was it you or a Crypto Block Dan?
I'd
Is he-
like to say me.
quiet?
I don't know.
He's been quiet. You know, he's grinding when he's quiet. That's the scary part when Dan's not, when he's not visible. You know, he's on the computer 24/7, like heads down.
Yeah, he threw a
Yeah.
couple hints. Yeah, but Fallen's been killing it. Like we were on with Dan right earlier in the week, and I saw you like just building up your realm. Like you had so many different things going on there. So you're killing
I
it,
was
Fallen.
on. I think last night I was grinding, or the night before. Jude knows. A bunch of people popped in. I was like, yeah, I need to get this because I want that legendary raider, right? Like it's.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a lot closer. I didn't think it'd be down to the final day. Like I need
Yeah.
100 more XP or something silly. Yeah, 100 XP on the dot.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
couldn't miss a beat. If you want that reward, you'd have to really check in daily and build up, right? So the
Exactly.
grind is real.
Yeah.
GG.
I mean, like something that I've noticed, right, for all the other games that have been slowly going public release is that um, usually the rewards are in the form of NFTs, right? And for a lot of people, I think that it's commonly overlooked that these early NFT rewards are, I mean, it's maybe it's a new hero, it's a new character, maybe it's a new skin or whatnot, but like later down the road, right? Like when everyone else is already playing the game, these are the NFTs that you won't be able to get anymore. That's what they're missing.
Exactly. I'm looking at these guys as like kind of the origin slash mystic axes
Yeah,
in game, right? Like, and you got to think about how hard it is going to be to get this legendary raider. On top of that, you need 20k gold, and I'm nowhere close to that. Um, so like I don't know if there'll be like more than 100 of these guys out in the wild. So
It's
yep,
so
pretty rare.
early. It's so
yeah.
early, man. And just to like keep that sentiment there, yesterday was OG Fortnite returning, right? And we saw the impact that that had. Like, if you fast forward Block Lords or any of these games we're talking about 5 years from now, if they get as big as Fortnite, look what happened with this OG comeback. We've got people streaming with over 100K viewers, over 5 million players
Exactly.
returning. Like, yeah, you never know.
People,
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I was gonna say people love what do you call it, nostalgia, right? Like when World of Warcraft brought World of Warcraft Classic back. I think that's just got as many people playing as the updated one.
Yeah, for sure.
Sedona, you're saying, buddy?
Yeah, no, yeah, I just got an idea from what ACL's just mentioned about Fortnite, right? Um, like ideally, we've been talking to well yesterday on Twitter Spaces. I was talking to David, and he mentioned that like these communities who are in on the game at the early stages, right? Like this wasn't a thing really before with Web 2 games, but now
Yeah.
you have like community members. There's a way of you to be recognized as an early supporter. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Because if
Yeah.
let's say you have like all these OG NFTs or these preseason or pre-release NFTs, right? Like there wasn't really a thing or a way to do that before. Let's say with Fortnite, as you said, ACLs, right? Like I
Yeah.
mean, you could stream it and then like you get 100,000 viewers, but how do you actually prove that you were there in day one? But now you can. Now you actually
Yeah.
can because you have those NFTs, right? And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you might have the skins, but it's stuck to your account. But this time around, right, like people will definitely be looking for those very, very early stage NFTs. And I think we're going to be getting a glimpse right now from ACLs for everyone at home who hasn't started or is in the very early stages of playing the game. So for our wrap up AMA, yeah, Fallen and the gang here, we've talked about it. What you wanted to do is we want to give you guys a walkthrough. Like we've seen the gameplay a couple of times, we've seen the mechanics, but how do you actually like play it? It's your first time to download. You open the game. How does that look like? So hopefully that by the end of the stream, right, we get everyone here, up to speed, and at the same time, you'd be able to share the stream with your friends. You'd be able to go back at it if you needed, a quick walkthrough of how you get started with block loads.
So
Yeah,
let's
for sure.
let's dive into it.
Yeah, just one last comment while we, had Fortnite talks in the mix. If you look at this night here on the launch pad, this is actually one of the first celebrity, or athlete collaborations here early on in Block Lords. This is actually Michael Bisping's Warrior. He's a UFC fighter. I grew up watching him fight, in the days where Matt Hughes was fighting and some of those guys, right? But the thing I
Yep.
wanted to mention is the difference is the agency, right? Like you might have that OG purple skull trooper from season 1 in Fortnite, but you actually can move that forward in a totally unique way with the OG Michael Bisping Warrior and Block Lords, right? You have the agency over your skin, so it's a big difference. But yeah, it's pretty cool. This is the early stage, right? We're really forward thinking that Block Lords see some success in the future, right? So you never know. You never know.
They've got all the right things going for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But let's launch the game, guys. Let's do it.
Let's get into it. I'm gonna help you get through that tutorial.
Yeah, I haven't played since the last closed beta launch. So let's do it. Let's do it. We're going back to our region. This is Lord Gabby Dyson.
Okay.
Let's go.
Cool. You got to actually choose his region. Dan hadn't claimed that region yet, so I was stuck with choosing somebody else. I'm in Forest Fire's region there. Who's a good guy too. He's already talked about aligning. He's like, please, once the wars come, I don't want to fight YGG. I said, all good, all good.
Yeah, that's a tough battle to fight. But I have secured my land in the realms here. So this is where we start off. We have the foreman house. I've got my villagers. I've got builders. I've got farmers. This is where I'm at so far. This is pretty much the beginning here.
Yeah. I think you're literally just past like 2 of the original tutorial ones where you like recruit a farmer or whatever. So that being said, what's your quest there? I can't quite see it on my screen.
Quest, assign a hero to a squad.
Yeah, so that's they were supposed to allow you to skip go back over to your left. Over one more. So those are your heroes. You have heroes to assign.
Okay. All right. So
you have your account linked, right? Your wallet connected. So you actually have heroes. They were supposed to skip this for free players who don't have heroes, but maybe because you have heroes, you're allowed to do it. So
clearly I'm a noob. So
no, it's perfect. This allows
Fallen shall guide us. But yeah,
it's funny how that ACLs might be sitting on millions of dollars in NFTs and other games, and he has no idea who he is. Because he's super active, right? Like he plays all of these upcoming Web3 games, in and outside of YGG port goes. So it definitely has all these early adopter NFTs across the board. ACLs, you might want to double check because
you say I play them. I wish I could really play them, but yeah, we test hundreds of games like over the last 3 years, literally hundreds of games in Web3. So I know I've got some skins and goodies here and there that I gotta dig into. But yeah, let's get it going here. Let's get these heroes.
You do a lot with the game testers as well, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I test as many games as I can. So
yeah,
that's a great program. Mazing's doing awesome work there.
Exactly.
Huge community.
Yeah. She's setting up all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And you guys get all kinds of little special goodies. I see that you have a hunter from the original open beta season there.
Is Karina, right?
Yeah. That's that's a hunter from completing the original season during that last, I think it was a 2-week open beta that we did with them the last time. This was like a couple months back. So, but if you go over to your normal villagers, so that's your heroes tab. You go back to your villagers one. So top there, if you click your farmer, and you see that little like chess piece icon next to the little group of farmers there, down at the bottom middle of your menu.
Yep.
So you can click that, and you'll be able to assign one of your heroes to it. So obviously you want to look at your hero stats in the heroes menu and see which one actually has a good perk. But for now, you can just assign it because you can always remove them after. But you see those perks there? So each of them has like a specific perk or boost that they give. So that one obviously is a butcher, so they're actually good if you want to like assign it to a hunter, right? Like that boosts the hunter thing. There's overseer. Overseer is really good for like putting in a building because you can actually equip heroes to buildings as well. You don't have to just equip them to squads. You can actually equip them to specific buildings. So for now, just complete the quest. Just put one of them onto your squad there. So go back to the top. There you go. Perfect. And just assign whatever one so you can get that quest out the way. Because I cannot stress this enough. You want to follow the original quests. I know a bunch of people who have not followed the quest and they run out of resources. The quest actually gives you a butt ton of resources to get you through the opening. So if you kind of just go off and do your own thing, you'll be waiting for resources. So
Nice.
now it's asking for you to grow and harvest wheat. So you have a farm field probably. Do you have the field set up yet? Yeah, I think so.
I do.
So send that
It
guy out there.
is-
When you click
set my
click the
field.
little plant on your farmers there, and it will literally show you where your field
okay,
is.
got it. And grow.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you're gonna
Awesome.
send that guy. You'll send him out to grow. He's gonna grow you some stuff. And while
Nice,
you
they're
wait for
walking.
that, exactly. So right now it's all about management, right? It's a little boring in the beginning because you don't have a lot of guys, but once you get up to the bigger one, you're always managing. I have 28 squads right now. I think you can get up to 35, so you're always moving stuff. They're going to be adding,
Nice.
you know, battles and all kinds of other stuff where you'll actually have to defend. That's not in yet, but that's going to add another layer. That's why we're telling people, like, you want to get in early, because once those start adding into the mix, it's going to be pretty chaotic trying to like manage your normal farm and then having to play battles at the same time. It's going to be quite difficult. So your guys are planting their crops. If you actually click on your foreman house right now, I'll give you a little tip too. So you can actually assign a hero, right? Just like you can assign it to squads. Decrease consumption, increase durability, because every time you do an action, if you see the HP of your foreman house, it goes down. And that's the same with every other building. So every time you do an action, the durability goes down and you'll have to have a builder come and fix it. So a little tip is, because you have heroes, you can click assign it, and assigning to the foreman house is the biggest upgrade you can get. So you actually had somebody that had the eye, her. If you go and click your hunters, that eye is overseer, so increase productivity and rate. So I would assign that there.
Got it. Let's
For
go.
now.
See, Fallen is the expert. You know, it was a pleasant surprise. Honestly, I'll show you when we go back to the menu why I thought I had to import heroes. But yeah, it would be cool if Block Lords had some indicators, you know, guiding new users throughout the menu a little bit. But if you click on things, you can find them clearly. Like Sedano mentioned, you know, I play all these games, but I really test them. I don't have the time to like put the hours into to figure them out in depth. But Block Lords looks, you know, pretty good. Like honestly, it really reminds me of Clash of Clans a little bit, but this is like way more expansive. Like this more like Civilization, like a whole, you know, Risk vibe going on here. But it's cool.
Exactly. Yeah, and it runs good. I know some people are asking if they can play it on the lowest settings. I know you're pumping out a 4090 there, so you're probably having the smoothest game possible. But I'm playing on a 970, like on a 13-year-old PC on lowest settings, and I don't lag, surprisingly. So like they've optimized it really well. I know we talked to David last at the beginning of the week about them eventually coming with like a mobile one. That's not going to be anytime soon. But if you have like an old PC or laptop, you could probably run this game on the low settings with minimal issues. And then I know somebody else is asking if this will be on Gap, and you know we are looking definitely to add it to Gap, because we have they have talked about giving us API access, which will make it easier. And clearly, like I love the game. I've been grinding it hard, so I've definitely put my hat in the ring for adding it as a game there. So you know, fingers crossed. If we have enough people playing, we'll add it as a Gap quest for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely accessible, and it was cool that, you know, they mentioned they would have a companion style app. Like last year when I started testing this, I was playing on a laptop, right? And it was still clean and, you know, still enjoyable. So they're doing good stuff here at Block Lords.
Yeah, they said they just want to keep optimizing so that, you know, even if you have a hamster wheel like driven PC, you'll still be able to play.
Got it. So we've locked in our heroes at the foreman house. We've got some wheat here on the go. What is the next step, Fallen?
So you've got to harvest that now, right? So that's where the sickle is on your farmers.
Got it.
Yeah,
harvest
and
wheat.
that will harvest it. Yeah. So there's always this kind of cycle with all your units, right? There's going to be two options for you to do stuff. And obviously that changes between units, but for almost all the harvesting units, you have two options, right? You have the plant or the go out and do something, and then the harvest portion of it. Or the refine portion for like other units. But for now, you're just getting in the swing. If you click on seasons there, I know we're almost at the end, top right. Yeah. So
Yep.
this is your thing here. Unfortunately, right? You're kind of only a day and 8 hours left. So, but you have
I've got no time
dailies
left.
there. Yeah. The dailies I find are really hard early game to complete. Later game they're not so bad. So let's just see what you have here. So what is that?
Look at this
Collect.
legacy raider though. For all
Yeah.
you Block Lords fanatics that have been grinding, this looks like a pretty tough hero.
He's going to be
It's like
needed when you
Viking
start
style.
fighting. Yeah, they said he's going to be really important for the fighting portion of it. So who knows? Maybe I'm going to be OP as heck.
Nice. Very cool. All right. So we've got them working here. What's the next step? This is going to be going on for a few moments.
Yeah, so again, you kind of just gotta wait. That's one of the early things of just getting started here is you gotta just wait for these things to get going. Eventually you'll upgrade your buildings, you'll add more buildings, right? You'll have to put more of these guys in and you can shuffle them around, but for now you just want to wait. You don't want to end up being resource deficient, okay? I've seen a few people do that. They try and speed run it and they'll follow the tutorial. The tutorial gives you specific resources to make sure you can progress outside of it. So unfortunately we're just gonna have to wait for that to go, although it's going pretty quick. You guys are returning there, but in the meantime, so any other thoughts there, buddy, on this, on Block Lords, on the whole economy?
Yeah, I mean, so I've always been seeing Lord Gabriel Dyson, or Dyson with a Y,
That'd be decent.
on socials, right? Maybe my question here is that for noobs like us, so how do we, how does it tie in to what we're doing right now in the current state of the game, or how can we build towards participating and also contributing to the kingdom or to the land that Gabby's NFT is a lord of?
Okay, yeah, but I can definitely help. So what Sedano was talking about is top left there. You see Big Gabby, or even here. So this is the map one. You can go out to the map, and this is a whole region. If you kind of just zoom around there, no ACLs. It's huge. Like the map is huge, right? Where it goes
there's
to the
various
right.
lords and ladies across these lands. If you go to different regions.
Exactly, right? So there's many regions. You can kind of think this is like the conquest map or the large map in Total War or Civilizations, where you pick your hero or whatever. So these are what they call legendary heroes. So these are the really expensive ones, and they can claim a region. So this is the YGG region, the Gabby region. We have 4 more heroes just tucked away, ready to go and claim regions. And if actually, I think you click to the region below you there. One of them is unclaimed around us. We deliberately claimed a bunch of region where unclaimed ones are, so we can have all our regions together. Because what's going to happen is in the future, these regions are going to go to war. Like you're actually going to be able to pillage each other's regions, or make peace pacts, right? But what you can see is if you click on the City Hall, the top left there on the member. Yeah, top left in your menus there. Is it called the City Hall?
The upper taskbar here?
No, on the left there, under all the taxation stuff.
Oh, okay. I see these. Yep, the City Hall. Got it.
So your region upgrades as well. So even just by playing in a region, you're actually contributing, right? So you can see a tax rate. So a tax rate of 9%. So whenever you harvest or sell anything, there's a tax rate, and you pay that back to the region. And that can go up or down depending on what the player who's chosen that region, right? You can see it's right in the middle, but technically Crypto Dan, who's in control of this region, could lower it or increase it, right? And that would take away from when you're doing stuff. Now if you press X there and go back to the city coffer is essentially all of those resources added up, right? And technically your the leader of the region could take that out and like pump their own base, but it's not advised because as you can see, there's locked buildings on the left too. Those can be unlocked as your region grows, not just because you have resources, but because you have people playing in the region, hitting milestones. So if people have unlocked the next sector or done things, and those will unlock different things. So if you press X and go over to the region to your right, Right, one
You
more.
mentioned
Up.
we had potential allies, right?
Yep. So the region right above that one. Nope,
Is
to
it?
the right. Yeah, that one. So I'm in that region actually, and Forest Fire's been there. You can see we have the library unlocked, right? Which isn't unlocked in
Nice.
Gabby's region. And that's just because we've had a lot. So this actually unlocks like secret quests and missions that you can partake in that happen on the map itself. But again, those other two buildings, the taverns and workshops, are going to be opened later too. And I'm assuming workshop or something like that will have other benefits to it that we don't quite know about, but they're adding on lots and lots more different things as they go through. So it's only a matter of time until we figure out what these do and what they have. I haven't actually partaken in any of these library quests because you actually have to put a banner out for it, and I don't want to waste my banners right now. I'm trying to like put them together for another hero. But there's a
It's
lot
gotta
of
break
hidden
down
mechanics.
that you gotta burn your banners. It looks like it's part of the Michael Bisping collaboration. There's a
That's
storyline
exactly what
about
it
his
is.
lineage, introducing him into Blocklord. So that's a unique way to bring him into the story and do a collab like that.
Yeah, and that's what they said that they wanted to do when we got some leaks from David at the beginning of the week. Is they really want this to be like a community-driven story. They don't want to so much just lay out the lore themselves. They want the community to come up with the lore, and then how they're gonna like kind of tweak it to whatever they need it to be at the time. So like, who knows? We might have a quest line with Gabby, right? Like Gabby might actually have a quest line, right? Or who knows? Maybe me or Dan might actually have a quest line too if we're playing so much. That's really cool. There's already some lore around some of the people. Like if you press X and go to the region two over to the left, there's a guy called like Brutalis IV. Yeah, I think one to the right, that guy. Yeah, he has his own kind of lore around him because he's like an OG player in the game. Like he's already been sprinkling some of the lore, and there's some factions already starting up that have like friendly rivalries. So it's really cool. Really cool to see.
Yeah, that is one of the coolest aspects. Like David was mentioning about that a lot, is that the community is here early. They're the ones that are basically dictating what's happening within these realms across these lands, and it's community-driven storytelling. And these people that are involved and put their time into the game and are enjoying the ecosystem, they're actually able to become a part of the storyline and be a part of the game in a really meaningful way. And it's cool, man. Like honestly, it's a great thing.
Yeah, so maybe you should go back to your farm and help you with that tutorial. I'm sure your farmers are done farming. Yeah, there you go. Because I don't think we're quite ready for the market yet. So what is it asking you to do? Trade any resource into gold. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So actually, we have to go back to the market there. So you'll click the bottom right. It'll take you out to the world map. And then it will say marketplace, and you will click on the marketplace. Now, this is where you can sell stuff. There's a few things to kind of keep track of, or buy stuff. I kind of avoid buying because it's kind of too pricey. Gold's hard to come by, but anything that has the S on top, you can sell, and anything that has the B, you can buy. There is a daily limit, so that daily limit resets daily, I guess, for this region.
Yeah, it's got the item refresh time here at the top.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes until reset.
Yeah, so that's the item refresh. They are still tweaking the market. As you can see, the price is going to update in a few seconds here, but you essentially just have to sell anything, and I would recommend that you sell some of your wood if you get the chance.
Wood.
So, yeah, so just sell one.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're going to need it, so just sell one.
Got
Yeah,
it.
there you go. One, and that's going to sell that. You'll get gold, and then see your daily limit will go down, and you pretty much got it back. So, just while we're here, I will, yeah.
Tutorial complete.
There, you're done.
Awesome.
And another thing is you can actually slide that bar. There's more resources to trade. I know a few people were mistaken about this. So if you slide that, you'll see more of the stuff to trade. Just so people know. That was a question that people were asking. Like, so that daily limit is per resource. And obviously you can only sell a maximum of 10 per day, per stacks. At the top, you can kind of see what's popular, what's not popular, what items go up. if you see just to the left in between the marketplace and your tab there, you'll see those like little stalls. Do you see them?
Yep.
Yeah. So
These
if you
ones here?
click the top one, click the top one there. That will actually show you every region. We used to have to go around and look at every
Nice.
region to find what's selling. This will actually show you every region. You can click go and it will take you to it. If you go over to meet at the top there, no ACLs, I'll show you one of my gripes right now. As you can see, it's all sold out, like all of it, right? The
True.
limit for everybody is sold out, 0 out of 100. It's killing me because
It's rough
for
right
whatever
now.
reason, somebody's coming and they're selling all their stuff. All the players are selling their stuff so quickly. I cannot sell for gold. So I'm having a really hard time making gold right now because everybody is just selling because they want that legendary raider and they want the gold. So apparently
True.
David's fixing that. I need him to fix that because I cannot get 20k gold if everything's sold out every time it refreshes. So, you know, fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
and the rates are extremely low. It looks like people are just unloading.
Well, as you
everything
can
they've
see,
got.
some of those are like 40 gold per stack. Like that's really,
Yeah.
really good, right? So those guys are going in there and they're selling their stuff because you can sell to other regions, right? But you also have a limit. So that covers the market. We can take you back now
That's
that you're
pretty
done the tutorial. It looks like you've got some build objectives and stuff. So let's start building your farm.
All right.
So, quick question, Fallen. ECLs as well. Well, I was able to catch a panel yesterday on compressed NFTs. So the idea is that you're able to mint NFTs at scale at fractions of a cost. Like whether it be 1,000, 10,000, or even a million NFTs, it really wouldn't cost as much as it would on traditional chains, right? And one of their ideas was that like in the future, or as these tools start to roll out, like resources, right, that ideally are soft currencies, like what's in the current marketplace over there on your screens at the home, right? In the future, these guys can also be turned into NFTs as well, and like there won't be that challenge of like the delay between the transactions, like minting costs, signing transactions, and all of that. Like imagine that if, let's say, for example, you're a character and you run out of stamina, and what you could do now is you can buy stamina off the marketplace as an NFT. And once you consume that NFT is burned and so on. So like technically there isn't any limit for what can be on and off chain moving forward. But like right now for Block Lords, as David said, NFTs, right? It's the characters, it's the heroes. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Fallen? Like, do you think that these pieces should be kept off chain, or like when the technology is there, should they eventually put everything on chain, especially that it's already available?
Yeah, so that's a really great question because it's something that we've talked about quite a bit. So Star Atlas actually does a really good job of this. All of their assets, even their resources, are actually on chain. So I think they're one of the first to do that. Their biggest hurdle is trying to balance it so a whale can't come in and just dominate by buying stuff, right? People with big pocketbooks, and that's really the hardest part for these game developers, is figuring out what do we put on chain so people can easily buy it and continue their progression, but at the same time not screw up the balance of the game itself, so somebody with just a big pocketbook, real world money can't come and just be a whale and ruin the game for everyone. And I think that's been a fine line for almost every game, even Web 2 games, and we're still trying to figure that out, right? But like I said, Star Atlas is a perfect example of it. I'm sure we'll see more games. I know David teased at wanting to have certain resources on the blockchain, but it's just a matter of figuring out which ones make sense to have that and which ones don't.
100%.
Yeah,
Super
totally.
interesting. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, honestly, just to weigh in a little bit, like I'm familiar with the concept of fractional ownership. There's ways to give users access to out of reach NFTs that way, who are able to put the time in and participate, right? but we've seen it so often in traditional games over the years. Like there's so many ways to generate revenue in a game. Like you mentioned, buying stamina, whether it's in-game currency to progress your, your land or your hero, or buildings, or whatever it is to, level up and get an advantage. And there's always been whales, right? And we think like, I don't know, I seem to feel like there's this idea that because it goes on chain and depending on what resource it is and how it affects the game, whales can totally destroy it for everyone. I think for some cases, yeah, it's definitely possible. But if you look at games over like the last 10, 15, even 20 years that have started incorporating, the pay to win aspects, right? It always has like a space for the whales and everybody else to get involved. It sucks when people get ahead, so games have to decide like if they want to allow people to just get an advantage without putting the time in, because I know a lot of blockchain games are really focused on rewarding the community and building up the early supporters and making it a really meaningful development process, right? So Fallen, I totally agree with you, like it has to make sense, but at the same time I think whales also help. And if you put it at the right resources and on the right elements of your game, it can help in, various different aspects, and just people can participate in different ways, right? And the game thrives in different areas. So it's just a matter of time, right? It's trial and error right now till we see what really works well.
Super
Yeah,
cool.
it's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Fallen. Oh, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's why we've seen with most Web 2 games, right? They stick to cosmetics for the most part. It's safe in that regards. I do agree. Like you want whales to come to your game. It's just a matter of obviously not ruining it for the people that have smaller books, right? So that's the fine line we walk, regardless of Web 2, Web 3, and it's ever evolving as we add more mechanics and stuff in. Because like you said, no ACLs. Maybe it's somebody that's maybe not a whale, but a really hardcore player, and they have the opportunity to sell to a whale and make a living off of playing that game, right? There's
Exactly.
these different avenues, and it's all about balance, right? That's the hardest thing for any developer, or even in the real world, right? We see it with the economy, right? Is balancing between the haves and the have-nots and making it fair.
Yeah.
And that's always been a fine line, no matter what.
That example is like the perfect segue for like on-chain and off-chain, items in a game, and like experiences in general, right? Because if things are off-chain, like in my experience, some games that have been doing it, right? It's especially big time recently. Fableborn's doing it on mobile. But if things are off-chain and the players that are supporting the ecosystem can earn that, like you said, if whales want to come in, they've got to get it from the players, right? And it's a player driven economy. And then the players that put the time in to get those off chain assets, if they want to put them on chain and whales pick them up or whatever it may be, I think that's a pretty good layer. But there's not many games doing it right now. So we'll see how that continues to evolve as well.
Looks like you gotta build some buildings, my dude.
Yeah, I gotta build 4 buildings. So
Okay.
what do you recommend we start with here?
So you gotta go over to your builders. So that's in your right tab, right? This is a tab you'll pretty much stay in for everything. And then you gotta heal your builders because they're starving. So you click the food. Yep, you send them to the house. Send them to the house. Click the house.
Got it.
They're gonna make some stamina. They'll get back up, and then you'll build stuff. So probably should have done that while we
bread
were
and
going
wine.
on that rant. But
I was also collecting wood with my villagers too. So I can see how as you expand, right? Like you've got so many things going on. Like you said, you've got tons of teams, right? But as you expand, you can see all this action taking place. And, this is a familiar type of gameplay experience, like building your land, developing your buildings, collecting resources, further expanding. So I like their game loop right now. It's clean, and there's quite a bit of strategy involved. You really do have to break down the different layers, like how you engage in the market, how you stack your resources, and what heroes you attach to each different aspect here. So there's a lot to think about. It's not really a simple narrow path you take forward, right? You got to be creative here.
No, exactly. When Drew gets back, I'll have him put my screen up quick just so you can see the difference. And I don't even have mine maxed out. I still have one more sector and like 10 more people to claim and a bunch
We've
of
got you there
buildings to
now.
do. Yeah. Like you can see like these are all my squads. I actually have room for 2 more. I think you have you have about the same amount of heroes as I do. But like you can see like I'm still trying to talk and keep everyone busy, right? Because you have to send them to get healed up. You have to send them out, right? So I'm like it keeps you really busy. Okay. Once you get to this big, you're always managing something, you're always doing something, you're sending people out to do stuff. And it
So
will not be boring.
And
I
you
have
just
a
keep
I
building
have a
bridges, right?
hunch. Uh,
That's cool.
I have a hunch, Fallen, that in your past life you were a lord, or possibly even a emperor or something, because you definitely have a knack for grand strategy games, RTS. Because I mean, right, you've been highly involved with League of Kingdoms as well, right?
Yep.
And again, like you definitely are being able to like flex your economy and people management skills in Block Lord. So it's super exciting to see like more and more core team members playing these games, right? Because it's definitely more fun, being able to be in the front lines with the community and yeah, just learning from each other. Super, super cool. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a big
Yeah.
big RTS guy. Played a lot of StarCraft. I love playing Civ as well. I play a lot of Civ. You can throw
So
no ECLs back up there.
maybe a quick question, Fallen, for you is how do you see Block Lords, playing out on like on a larger scale, when the game's massively adapted, because like StarCraft, Warcraft, other RTS games have really vibrant competitive scenes, right? Is this something that you feel can happen, and like what does that timeline look like?
Yeah, I'm not sure if a competitive scene would be the right one. I haven't seen their combat yet. And as you know, like StarCraft or anything like that, like you build your base and after the game's over, you have to restart. Block Lords is going a different route, so it's more a little bit akin to like Total War or
More of
Civ, but even
leaderboards, right?
yeah,
Like more
exactly.
leaderboards. Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll have an esports side of it. I'm sure there's a way they could do that with the battles that they want to have. I know Total War for a little while had some competitive side. Definitely not anything to the tune of StarCraft. So fingers crossed. But I wouldn't say this is the best game for esports. In my personal opinion, esports people want high intensity stuff, and it's hard to get high intensity in more of a slower RTS style game. Again,
Yeah.
even for StarCraft, right? StarCraft is RTS, but it's very quick, right? You're building
Yeah.
quick, you're rushing to get whatever you do. My thing was always Marine Rush or Zerg Rush, like kill people early game and wipe them off the board. So I don't know how they're doing their combat. There's obviously the opportunity for David to go that route and do it, but I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see. And like that's one of the other things that I'm really looking forward to is when we get like a high paced shooter, because I'm also a very big like shooter guy, right? I love RTSs and stuff, but I'm a big shooter. Halo and Modern Warfare, like I said, I did play some old school MLG in the back in the day for Halo and Call of Duty, and I'm waiting for a Web3 game to come back and pick
Yep.
that up and put together like an esports team for one of these high end games.
Yeah.
As long
Fallen.
as there's controller support. I don't do
I've
mouse and
got
keyboard.
I've got good news for you, Fallen. Like personally, I'm coming from a similar background. I've been in the MLG circuit back in Halo 2, and I've played Destiny and a few good shooter games that we all know and love. But I'll say keep your eyes on Dead Drop, Shrapnel, Metalcore. Those are the top three I'm going to throw out there right now. Off the Grid is also a good one to look at, but they look like some serious contenders to some of our favorite games. So don't sleep on them. But one more comment, just because we were talking about the similarities to LOK, right? League of Kingdoms. I think okay, maybe the intensity for esports is not here, right? As FPS games and MMOs and so on. But I think we could see a pretty interesting like continent style event like what we have on LOK, right? Where everyone is competing over the span of maybe a 3-month window or whatever it may be. And yeah, we could see some interesting turnouts, right, when the wars start to be waged.
Well, exactly. And eventually, YGG, we want to be at the forefront of putting together events. We've already started that, obviously, with the Web3 Summit and some of the other tournaments. But we want to, I'd love to see some sort of player-driven tournament like how they do with Dota, right? Where people buy, certain in-game assets or battle passes for that season, and it all contributes to the pot and gets matched, right? Because that's Dota, as far as I know, has had one of the largest player-driven prize pools besides like League of Legends and stuff like that in terms of esports, if I'm correct, Sedano, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Definitely.
I think Web3 is really the opportunity because again, you have people already investing in NFTs that are tradable, which is very similar to Dota, right? You can trade your items in Dota, obviously only on the Steam marketplace, but this is where I feel we can really push, right, and generate a bigger esports scene than ever before once we find one of those games that just does everything right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Totally.
to bridge off that, I totally agree with both of you, right? And I do think, like, that definitely one of the advantages that we are overlooking for Web3 games is that there are new ways to make a game competitive, right? Because now we're looking at global databases for leaderboards, for scoring system, for tracking player achievements. Because all of this before was just like server sided, right? Like it really depends on how many servers are in a region, or if let's say the game studio decides to merge two servers from two different countries, then it's going to be another leaderboard. But now, like, everything's starting to be global with especially with the advent of having faster internet. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. Like for Block Lords, right? Like as No ACL said, having possibly a global leaderboard that doesn't have to be high octane battles like StarCraft or whatnot, but at the same time, it still gives that the competitive feel of you checking on your resources, on your farms, or yeah, if you did some pillaging or whatnot on a daily basis, and having that tracked and scored, and maybe even rewarded on maybe on like seasonally, right? So super interesting. So we're gonna be seeing a Web3 version of shooter esports, Web3 version of RTS competitive gameplay, farm sims, all of that stuff. But yeah, before we go back to ACL building his empire here, I want to quickly show, because we talked about how Fallen loves shooters as well. Have you guys seen this? I hope this isn't as off tangent, but I think everyone has to see this. Jude, would you mind sharing my screen real quick? Have you seen this, guys? This is a gun mouse.
Oh my gosh.
So you
Nice.
actually are shooting with a mouse that is mounted like vertically.
Sedano, over the years, I've seen so many content creators make their own makeshift version of this type of controller where they get like, a
I
rifle
even
and
see
they
the
put
guy
it
with
there and it's
recoil.
like, yeah, the whole desk is like shaking and everything. It's cool to see that. Yeah.
It's
Nice.
cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love the
very cool.
idea. It just every time I've tried something like this, it doesn't. I come from like I said, I was a military reservist for a while too. I shoot guns on the farm all the time. I hunt, so like I'm very familiar with actual like physical shooting, and video games almost never get it right. I've played VR stuff. I've felt mouses. I've done all of that stuff. It's just there hasn't been anything that's a real good one-to-one. The VR stuff is getting closer and closer every day. Like I've played some pretty advanced stuff. I've used like all the new Vive and all the new tracking, and it's getting really close. Especially once you get like haptic feedback, because there's a lot of feel in shooting. You know what I mean? Like how a gun does. Like I can reload. I could disassemble a full AR without even looking, like just through memory.
Nice.
So like that's where a lot of this stuff is going to come. I've always been a fan of like the Ready Player One stuff, or Sword Art Online, where eventually you get
Is there a haptic suit or something?
exactly right, where all of this stuff, because again, like I'm not the best. I'm not like I'm good at shooting and stuff with controller, but like if we were to put people who've never shot a gun competitive with people who have shot a gun, and you actually had to have your own real stamina and how much like running with a gun is a lot of freaking work.
Just
right?
honestly, Fallen, just wait for VR arcades to really become immersive, where you know you have the tracking, you have that full immersion, and it really feels like close to the real thing. Imagine going to a VR arcade, you're on this like treadmill or whatever it is, maybe an open arena, depends how they integrate it, right? Because we have that AR functionality coming to light now. So maybe we'll have wearables that really create a gamified environment. And yeah, it's like a physical combination with a digital FPS experience. So just gotta wait, man. It's coming. I'll see you there.
That's what I want. Yeah, no, for sure.
I
I've
hope we're
tried.
not yet in our 70s and wheelchairs when that happens.
Well, then we won't be on the physical, you know, combination. We'll just be in the fully VR version. There'll be options for everybody, but some more fun than others, I suppose.
I think this is. I think when you're ready to kind of kick off your initial stream, no ACLs. I think this might be our first thing to do is just gather around a bunch of us and just talk about Web3 and all this cool stuff, because we could probably go on for a couple hours. Probably we could break it up about all this stuff, right? All of these different things that we want for the future, how Web3 kind of ties into that, because I do think with AI and a lot of these things in our lifetime, probably a lot sooner than a lot of people think, that these things will become reality just because of how fast technology is moving forward, right? We just from kids, right, with dial-up internet, like we were talking at the beginning there, where it's like, Mom, don't answer the phone, don't pick it up, my RuneScape's going, to now where we're at, right, with internet. That's like not even 20 years, right? So to imagine where we'll be 20 years from now, 30 years from now, like I don't think we can even comprehend
even
it,
10
right?
years
Like,
from now, honestly. I think that growth factor multiplies, right? So
Yep.
our generation and the younger generations, we might be geared up and ready. Some a bit older than us, it might be a bit shocking and difficult to adapt to, but there's going to be some interesting experiences. So looking forward to what's to come in the future.
yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm an optimist. I'm not a pessimist.
Likewise, yeah. If there's a demand, right? Like anyone developing any of these things that we're talking about, when there's a demand and people really have like a passion about it and ideas, and it can be developed responsibly, it's just a matter of time. So I think we're getting close, man. We're getting there. So just waiting for my my AR glasses, more functional wearables. The Ray-Ban ones are okay, but we're still in our NES stage right now for this stuff. So give it time.
Yeah, have you tried it? I was about to grab a pair for myself. The Meta and Ray-Bans, right?
Yeah, it's still in early
Have you guys
development,
tried
right?
it? It
So,
was pretty cool, but then the resolution of the glasses aren't there yet. But like the speakers, being able to link it to a live stream, so super cool stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
baby
we're
steps.
getting there. Exactly. Like I said, I think we're gonna have to do a stream, at least with us three, and just talk about all the cool tech and stuff. I think that's
Oh, for sure.
we'll see if people actually really if
It
they
has
want
to
that.
be like a 6-hour stream, Fallen.
No.
Yeah.
We'll break it up, okay?
It's a full day marathon. It's got to be a marathon stream. Just get everybody involved. But no, honestly, great chats as usual, and really like Block Lords is where it's at right now. If you're looking for that LOK feel, civilization, conquer
So
and build.
Fallen, maybe like what could help our community members here next is that so we've seen like the very basics, how to set up your how to set everything up, and also if you've had access to NFTs from before, how you get to use them right now. But what are the next steps, or what should the community prepare for, especially that Block Lords is going to be rolling out pretty soon. For everyone else, they've announced it's already in Epic Games. They've announced the Steam wish list.
Steam is
What
coming
can we
out, yeah.
prepare for?
Yeah, so definitely now is your opportunity to get in. It's free to play. Download it on Epic, or if you're a Steam person, wait. It's going to be out, and they said by December on Steam, right? So it's really impressive that, again, Steam is really apprehensive against, any Web3 game. So the fact that they're going to let block lords on there is pretty impressive. So go download it. Start building your buildings. No ACLs if you go off to your right. You can turn the camera with E or Q. Will actually turn the map.
Got it.
So if you pan over, you have 2 more sectors to open, right? With home buildings and foreman houses to build, and those will increase your squad size. So this is really your opportunity to build your farm up before those battles get played or the raiders come and people can start raiding your resources. This is your like peaceful time where you can build up your base. It's free to play. Obviously they have their seasons. Be on the lookout for the next season that they're going to have in game. Be on the lookout for us adding gap quests, maybe even super quests for the game. These are the games YGG is looking at, that they're adding to, where they're constantly updating, they're making meaningful updates, they're having gameplay first, right? I'm really hopeful about the multiplayer aspect of that coming too. So, this is your chance to dive in. It's free. You have an opportunity to obviously get some, really cool NFTs too. And if you have any questions, we've got obviously the links to the block lords in our Discord and our channel there, and hop into their Discord as well. Their community is really open to helping players, answering questions, walking you through. So like, again, if you're stuck on that heroes, they would have walked you through it, right? I'm still going to continue to do some streams throughout the week where I just play games. I'm playing a lot of block lords, maybe a little bit less now that I've unlocked that legendary raider. Probably not, because I still have to farm 20k gold. I've been playing a lot of parallel as well, trying to crank out my seasons for that, because again, you can earn rewards for playing in their seasons there. Anything that really has a good seasonal battle pass, I've been playing. Nightpad Hooligan, been playing that too, although I'm nowhere close to completing that battle pass. So battle passes and earning rewards is really what I've been grinding for right now. So that's what I'm doing, and that's my tips right now for block lords is if you have the opportunity, jump in while you can, because it's only going to get harder to grind once those battles come.
I'll definitely be asking you for some tips here to develop my realm.
Yeah, let me know. On that note there, I think we'll wrap up. We're past the top of the hour. I gotta get to the farm and do some hard manual labor.
Yep. From the block lords farm to IRL.
Yeah, from one, exactly. So any closing thoughts? No ACL, Sedano?
Yeah. I'm good on my end. Just really happy to be able to hang out with you guys again. Super cool. Definitely learned a lot. I definitely would want to open up my account and block lords again, because now I've figured out the same problem that ACL has had. We still do have access to all of these assets, and ACLs, don't forget to check all your other wallets. You don't know what you're sitting on, man.
Man, I just wish I had more time to play. Like, it's usually just test the games, give feedback, and participate in as much as I can. But I wish I had more time to really get in there and grind away. But I know I have my heroes now, so I'll definitely be kicking some block lords here and there, and we'll see what happens. Protect your house, folks.
Yes, sir.
Protect your house.
Guys, thank you so much for dropping by, everyone. On Discord right now, or if you're watching on our socials, don't forget to share, and hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Give us a follow. But for everyone else, thank you so much, Carrot, Osama, Carmila, Bell, DK, Leffy, Giu, of course, and Jude for helping us out with the stream. Kay, Kenny, Kian, L. I see Mark was in the audience as well earlier. Riku and Savvy. So see you guys pretty soon, because we have some exciting stuff happening on our next game spotlight, right, Fallen?
Yeah, we got Parallel coming up, the other game I was talking about. So it's busy. We're really busy coming up to that Web3 Summit, right? We're trying to push all these things out, and then it's going to be even busier with the summit happening there.
Sure, 100%. So
the
guys,
next, spotlight, folks.
Yes, sir. See you soon, and cheers, guys. See you in the metaverse.
Cheers. Yeah, see you in the metaverse. Together we play, guys.
We play.
Discover the future of gaming this November. Hear from over 90 speakers across the globe. Check out the newest Web3 games. Over 300 esports athletes and meet your future developers. The future of gaming is here. Don't get left behind.